Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on Mickey's account. We have 450,000 diamonds. That's right. If you guys remember from the live stream we did, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, we were waiting for the Draconic heroes to come up. We wanted to go ahead and summon up the rest of the Draconic heroes. And looking at this account, when we built and really summoned all of those awakened heroes, those celestials, those hypos, we have all of them in here. As you can see, he have massively built out this account. He also wrote and said, I did a crazy amount of progression, which he did all the way to chapter 55 in here. So it is a crazy amount of progression. Let's hop in here, open up these bags. We'll get these things all set. And it looks like, I know he's been waiting for us to do the summons. He wrote me a little bit earlier, said, hey, you're going to hop on. You're going to do some more of those summons. Absolutely, we wanted to. What is going on, Soul and Benjamin? Thank you guys for joining me. Happy Saturday from Michigan. I am in Michigan as well, Benjamin, just north of Detroit. So thank you guys for joining me. Let's hop on here, do a couple summons in here. Let's see what we have in the mail. I know he sits on a couple. There we go. So he's got quite a few in the mailbox. Let's see if we have some stones to pop open, because I know right now, usually Mickey is sleeping at this point. It's very, very late where he lives. So there we go. So we got 2 stones. Boom, not too good with the stones, but that's okay. Out of here, we have 42 more stones, guys. There is Villanelle out of there. There is Mishka, so has a crazy amount of stones with progression. And it looks like no Celestials or Hypos out of here. Again, double copies of, we have copies of Brawn right there. We have a few different ones. And of course, he put this on the fastest speed, so it's going to be kind of crazy getting through here. And as you can see, he did pop open all of those rare stones, built all of the heroes that he wanted to. There was a crazy amount of heroes. So of course we want to hop in here, and it is going in the Draconic Isles or the Dragon Isles and summoning these heroes. This is going to be the focus for the entire stream. So if you have questions, definitely drop them in. Really in the night. Yeah, Mystical, it's a little bit later. We're just over 10, just after 10 p.m. where I'm at. So it is a little bit later. What is going on, Hills? Thanks for joining us. All right. So in here, we know we want to build this out because it is a very, very limited time. 25 days within our wish list. He did put the new Draconic heroes in there. Nyla is also in here as well. I believe Nyla's already at 3 stars now. Looking and thinking of Polina and of Cassius. Both of those heroes really don't have a big use. Not really being used in a lot of different places. But if you're running the Dragon Forge and want to make a lot of progression in the Dragon Forge, having copies of those is a big requirement. You can see he's already pushed to 7, and it looked like the rewards were from 8. So he's making decent progression in here, but it will make a big difference if you have those Draconic heroes and if you do build them up. So let's finish these out, guys. Now, of course, if you're buying them, if you're just looking to get the 4 copies of this heroes, it is 150,000 diamonds, which again is kind of crazy, but 150,000 diamonds to get the copies. And of course, it's 5,000 less because we have this one scroll. What's going on, Kilos? And Miko is here as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's get into these summons, guys. And I'm hoping, honestly, that we can pull some of these highborn Draconic. And as you can see, with the speed, it's kind of crazy how fast they just literally pop up. But I want to try and get, and there's a double right there. There's double Nyla. Now, I believe at this point, Nyla is going to be done. And I know when it comes to Gorgie, we're going to have a lot of additional copies of, which makes me think building out Polina, building out a couple of other heroes would honestly make sense in here, which I think, no, she's 1 more star away. That actually gave her a star. Let me see if we have another copy, because we might need 2 more copies of Nyla. Yep, 2 more copies of Nyla will take her to 5 stars, so we can finish and build this out. And then, of course, we want the new hero. That is what we're looking for in here. So 2 more copies, and we want those highborn. They are incredibly rare. There's another copy of Emilion. Now, he's a hero, a lot of utility for the Draconic faction. If we already didn't have him built, that would be an absolute priority. There is Polina. Now, even though Polina is not in the wish list, we still do have a chance to pull her out of here. And there we go. There is Kraigor. He is the one that we're looking for. And honestly, when you look at this hero, not seeing a ton of utility, but we're starting to see him integrated to PvP, best in slot PvP teams, which I feel like is really going to be a focus. I think also if we have multiple teams within Cursed Realm Nightmare Corridor or Cursed Realm itself, Nightmare Corridors, just one boss, that he is going to be prevalent. What's going on? Jaffa is joining us as well. Thank you for joining us. So that is 1 copy of the hero. I don't even know with this many diamonds if we're going to get all of the copies of this hero we need. Honestly, I don't know, because we still need those 2 copies of Nyla to finish out, but there's some copies of Cassius. There is Kraigor, so that is number 2. Number 3, so getting pretty lucky with the pulls. That is 2 copies of him in a row. There is copy number 4, so that does take him all the way to legendary already. Then remember, we are getting 4 free copies of him, and I think it's in my opinion, guys, it's a pretty good way to bring the heroes up. Just thinking of future releases with Draconic heroes, if they have the ability to give us essentially 4 free copies. I know the cost of the 5,000 diamonds in here is very, very expensive. But if they're giving us the ability to make it easier, and honestly easier and easier to get these heroes out of this game mode, I feel like in the future it could be a lot easier than it is now. So there we go. There's the 4 copies of Kraigor. And look, guys, we've already went through that 200,000 diamonds, which are kind of crazy. Yeah, new Draconic hero is on the test server a little bit. PvP, we know, jumped right in. Absolutely jumped right in. Hippo, I'm in love with Matria. If you build her after Lucius or Safiya, would that be bad? If it's a hero that you love, no. The thing with Matria, Matria is still being used in a couple different places. Matria is also 100% absolutely best in slot when it comes to the Hypo Tower. Again, thinking of a hero like that, Hypo Tower absolutely being used, and absolutely being used always. And again, a lot of campaign formations, we're still seeing Matria used. There is a pretty good use in there. This game hates me when it comes to Draconic summons. Only 4 Nyla copies, but 13 Cassius. That is crazy, Miles. That is a lot. Caught a stream. Thank you, Russian, for joining us for the stream. There is 5 stars with Nyla. I built out Nyla first, Miles, and I only put Nyla in the wish list. And a lot of players say that doesn't make a difference. It's complete BS. I felt like when I summoned for Nyla the first time, it was incredibly, incredibly easy to build out Nyla. It was incredibly fast to build out Nyla. Just putting her in the wish list, which again, a lot of players say that's not true. It doesn't work mathematically. But when I was doing summons with just Nyla in there, it seemed to make a really big difference. It did seem to go a lot faster with just putting the one single hero. And I'm wondering, is Melion already 5 stars? Melion is. Now, this is the point where a hero like Melion will save us some copies of Gorgie. And of course, I'm going to use that copy of Melion. This is the same thing that I did when it came to Nyla, when it came to a couple of heroes, when it came to not having enough copies of Gorgie to actually build out the other heroes that we wanted to build out in their entirety. But it definitely got there, and look at that. That is already ascended. Now 200k diamonds took him to ascended. Let's go ahead and add the star in there just in case we want to engrave, which honestly, PvP aspect, yes, he is going to be engraved. We don't know at 1. I only had 1. Oh, Miles was only running 1 in there. What's going on, Glenn? Love from the Philippines. Valdex, what is happening? My DMR rates are horrid before I get there. Liberta, copy every 30 cards. 40 with doubles. Yeah, Demia is 100%. You want to build out Demia. That is a hero that is massive. Demia is probably one of the best in slot heroes. Utility-wise, Demia is everywhere. Demia can be used everywhere in the entirety. Demia works super, super well. Still no Highborns, though. So we need 2 more copies of Kraigor. And then Kraigor will be done. There's another copy of Nyla. Now, again, Nyla is just going to be used at food. And I'm wondering if, let's drop Nyla out of here. Nyla is done. Let's drop Kraigor in that first slot and see. Rest of the wish list is empty. There's copy number 1. Come on, Kraigor. Where is that other copy? Now, we know coming up this week should be a Graveborn hero. Since we had the release of the Draconic hero, Dali has already talked about and spoken about the Graveborn hero. Don't know what it's going to look like. Don't know what it's going to be. But there is Kraigor, guys. So 234k left in the diamonds, which is kind of crazy, which is awesome. I'm missing Awakened Lucius, Brutus, Safiya, Antandra, Gavis, and Matria. Which one would you recommend for a wait? How many cards do you have, Soul? That's a really, really good question, because when you think of Lucius, Brutus, Safiya, I would probably go Lucius out of that. Entendre, no. Gavus, no. Matria, no. Out of there, I would do Lucius. Only 28 cards. I would save. The thing is, Soul, is if you start with the Awakened version of Lucius right now, you might get a copy, you might get two, you could get lucky. But overall, I would just bank them because you're only sitting at 28. And essentially, if the new Awakened hero comes out, the new Graveborn comes out, in very not strong showing, similar to Entendre, and I know a lot of players are using Entendre for a lot of content, but if the hero is not very good, you can go ahead and go back to the Awakened version of Lucius. If the hero does incredibly well, then you can just go ahead and build the new hero. I would definitely just save. Now, if you had 228, 328, if you had a lot more of those Soul, I would go ahead and use them. But having only 28 cards, I would just sit on them. I would honestly sit on them. I would just go ahead and save those. I wouldn't bother starting until you get there, because essentially with the new hero, though, if you get, 50 on the new hero release plus off the abilities, you get about 90 in there, plus the Voyage of Wonder. So you could get up to, by the next release, probably, if you're farming the towers on a regular basis, 250, 300 cards, which would be very, very cool. What's going on? Pablo is here, as well as Aziz. Thank you for joining us. I'm hoping that the stability of the connection, it's been kind of crazy lately, and I use Casper Sky. If you guys aren't familiar, I guess they got kicked out of the US for something, so it was kind of weird. Virus protection, everything, but it seems like something might be going on with chat. I don't know if it's prioritizing one thing over another. I don't know. There was some updates and some changes, guys, but that does give us the ability to build the hero up in his entirety. And I'm almost wondering, Cassius is being used some places. So it shows the chat has been reconnected successfully. So I hope that it is using, or that it's working correctly. But there is the copies of Kraigor, guys. Now, I don't know if Mickey ran through and used all of the resources, because remember, we built a crazy stupid amount of heroes out of here. So I don't know. Yeah, guys, 6,000 here, 2,000 here. If you guys remember, 25, 30,000 was what he had. Let me restart the chat and see if this is going to come up. It was kind of weird, like it didn't want to pop up properly, but I think it did come up. Yeah, it shows me that it came up. I have Gwen at Mythic. Should I continue her, switch over to build land? If Gwen is at Mythic, yep, I see it, Dusty. It just popped up. Gwen's at Mythic, I would build her. If you've already gotten all of those copies to get her up to Mythic, yes, I definitely would. I would build them up. I made an invocation yesterday at the goals I want, and I've gotten after all the resources. I always follow your tier list. Yeah, thank you, Pablo. Yeah, the tier list, guys, I try to follow them. And honestly, with the tier list, it's somewhat subjective depending on the heroes that you like to build, depending on who you want to build. But when you start looking at utility, and that's why I don't focus the tier list on very specific heroes. It is about the utility of the hero more than the hero build. Because when you start looking at this game and thinking big picture, there are so many different game modes. You got the campaign, you got the towers, the curse realm, the treasure scramble, the twisted realm, the nightmare quarter. There are so many places, the temple rift, that you are using heroes in here, is trying to focus on and building out the heroes with the highest utility that are used in the most places in AFK Arena, which is one of the big ones. See you later, Pablo. Thank you for joining us. If it's Awakened Pharrell, I will dump everything to get them. There you go. So Miles is all in. And let me know in the comments what you guys think. Awaken Isabella, that is another one. So the heroes that I've heard the most from players, number one being Pharrell. Pharrell is one that I have heard a ton, that a lot of players want to see the Awakened version of Pharrell. Same with Isabella. I have heard a lot about the Awakened version of Isabella, and how this hero would impact Awaken. I don't know if they're going to do another mage, but Shamira, they made a tank, so I mean, they can always change whatever they want. Me personally, I do like both of those choices, but I think either one or two, I would love to see Grez. When you think of utility, when you think of a hero that was used for such an incredible amount of time, I would not be disappointed at all if they did Grez. And I think one that they could really be very, very unique and really make it interesting would be doing Nara, the awakened version of Nara. Now, if you're playing AFK Journey, which I no longer do, Nara was actually introduced over to AFK Journey, so she did join them. I would like to see Nara. If you guys remember originally, if you've been playing for a while, the Nara's release was massive because she was the first hero that could ever take out Brutus when he was shielded. The instant kill for the enemies. Nara was the absolute, probably one of the earliest game changers because of the ability for the insta kill that she possessed. It was kind of crazy. So who do we got? We got Isolde. That would be an interesting one. Now, of course, once you build Isolde up, he was impossible to kill if you got the self-heal going. Isolde was a very, very unique hero in the build, but definitely a very strong hero that I did love to see. Isabella. Yeah, Isabella is what I'm saying. Awakened Ainz. The Flex says the awakened version of Ainz. Unfortunately, I don't think, unless some renegotiates do happen, that we would see Ainz come back, that we'd see Albedo. A lot of those heroes, unfortunately, for the dimensionals, they're for a very limited time only and very, very restricted. Waken, Damon, or Isabella. Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool with both. It would be really interesting. And this is another thing that I've seen over on Discord, is if they went somewhere down here with like an awakened version of Naru, who would expect that? If they did Shamira and now they do an awakened version of Naru. I know, again, a lot of players did love Naru. Early game, if you're an original AFK Arena player, last 5 years, Naru is an absolute nightmare when you were dealing with him at low levels. It would be pretty cool to see an awakened version of Naru as well. And of course, guys, this is going to be the last awakened hero in 2024. We know they go through the iteration. This is actually the third phase of the awakened heroes for 2024. Yeah, Naru, and that's my thought as well. I would love to see Naru if it was possible, if it would be there. Again, Oden would be cool. I like Oden's functionality. He was super unique in AFK Arena, which again could be pretty interesting to see if they did something very unique with him. It'd be cool. And I feel like when I think of Oden, if they changed him away from being a mage, I don't know what I would think of that. I don't think I would like it at all because he is such an amazing mage and used for so much content when he was prevalent. A very, very cool hero. But of course, with the Awaken draft. Yeah, for Vulcan, I would do it, guys. I love Vulcan, all the content out there. And I've known Vulcan for 5+ years at this point. Talked to him a lot. That would be crazy, crazy cool if they went and did an Awaken version of Dreef for the anniversary, or for like next year's anniversary for an Awakened hero. If they just pulled it out of here, or if Dreef did an Awakened Draconic hero, if Dreef evolved kind of like a Pokemon into something, it would be kind of insane to think to have the hero actually build out. Now, Kraigor, like we said a little bit ago, looking at Kraigor, he is being used in a couple different places. We've seen him in the Treasure Scramble. This is where we've seen him most prevalent. Now, of course, this is over on Mickey's account, and we have a lot more Treasure Scramble teams over here. But we started seeing him in here. Even there is our new Celestial hero, and there's the Awakened version of Iran. If you look, the only Iran combination has been doing very, very well in a lot of different places. And as we get to a multitude of teams, Kraigor has been being used, or has been used in a few different places. We'll collect up some stuff for Mickey because I don't know. Like I said, his time zone's completely crazy. Yeah, the Draft Dragon. That would be hilarious. What's going on, Simon? Thanks for joining us. Can I use any hero for towers? Or are there heroes better for the towers? So the thing mythical is when you look through the factions, so thinking of the faction towers in general, unfortunately, the Awakened heroes. The Awakened heroes, of course, are going to be your driving factor. And what we do with the Awakened heroes is we split them into 3 teams. So the Awakened version of Lucius, the Awakened version of Belinda, and then if we had the Awakened version of Thane, they are split into their own individual teams. In this case, even looking at Mickey's account, I would put Scarlet in the 3rd team. That way you have one damage dealing hero in each team. And then of course you kind of split the support, you kind of split the tanks. When you start getting to 2 teams, it's easy. Even here, looking at Lucius and Belinda, very, very easy. But when you start, again, kind of looking at the Awakened heroes, because they are by far and above the strongest heroes in the AFK arena, if you have the Awakened heroes built, they will always constitute being able to run usually a team almost by themselves. You could put a little bit of fodder around them, but usually with the SP effect in the hero itself, you can get through there pretty well. But the more that you have, even looking here at Iran, the more that you have, the better. And of course, there are a few key heroes when you look in here, which is really constitutes with the regular wish list. So looking at like, your Jeromes and your Palmers do incredibly well within there. Even looking here, some of the damage dealers, looking at Naruko, looking at Villanelle, absolutely used. Even in towers, Crescio can do very, very well, can carry a ton because of the damage that he has. Brutus with the immunity. But when you start going through here, even looking at a hero like Aethys, Aethys is crazy, crazy strong in the crowd control aspect. But even looking at Iran, looking at Mishka, looking at Tamaris, they do incredibly well, and they do exactly what you need them to do in tower formations, making them very, very important. Even looking here, we have Ivan, we have Silas, we have Lady Simona, we have Bron, which you can see a couple of these that we're building out. Again, wish list wise, they do incredibly well. Ezio used in PvP. Yeah, it's the insta kill. If you're looking at Ezio is still the insta kill is awesome. It is one of the PvP monsters. When you get to the point of just executing an enemy, it is a really cool ability. I hope it's Celestial, Flora, Hypo, Lucretia, Lightbearer. I don't know, Maulers. Oh, yeah, for me, I want to see, I would like to see Flora, but like I had said before, guys, I would love to see Wukong. I would love to see the Awakened version of Wukong. I think that would be an absolute monster, doing the Awakened version of Wukong. And again, with Wukong, you could do whatever you wanted to with him. And I feel like he would just be an absolute monster. I know if they did, Wukong, or if they did Flora, I mean, Flora, I would still be happy with. Flora does incredibly well. But if they did a hero, and I don't know if they would do like an Awakened version of Lucretia, because she had such a big, big impact in the game. Any news on AFK and companions? So right now, I know they posted something over on Facebook saying the test is going incredibly well. Now, the thing with the test, though, is it's super limited. It's open to a lot more players if you fit in the little niche. For iOS, unfortunately, it's only to one single country, but being able to download it, they're making a bunch of adjustments in this beta version, and I believe the next time it comes out, it is going to come out to everyone. I think it's going to be more of a release, a test release to a bigger audience, which again, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like or how it's going to look when it comes for the only, combo ain't doing the best for me in PvP. The thing, Soul, is if you're looking at Ulna Iran is one that is very, very squishy unless you have a really, really big build out. What I mean by that is like a plus 40 signature item, probably like 18 furniture and the 80 engraving. So you can actually pick up the Endeavor ability right here, which again, PvP wise is going to be massive because of the crowd control with tenacity. He is a little bit squishier than most of the heroes, even looking at the Awakened version of Antandra. If you can get the hero to ult, if you can get the hero to live, you have a lot of viability in the heroes. But again, they have to be built out. Iran is super, super dependent on stats. So even building him up a lot further right here with the magical resistance going through the roof, as you continue to build this out, the crit is going up, the insight is going up, and just making the heroes stronger and stronger is the absolute game changer. Yeah, there hasn't been a ton, and I've seen a couple picks, I've seen a couple different things. It seems like they're more testing AFK companions than putting a lot of new content in it is kind of what we're seeing right now. Brutus, Taline, Aziz, yeah, not really used anywhere. Should I use guild coins for Albedo, Garrison, after Amelia, or by Eugene? Where do you have Eugene? So depending on where you have Eugene, Eugene is one, again, utility-wise, I would get Eugene up to 1 star, just like we have right here, and then move what you're purchasing. For me, on my YouTube account, I actually got Eugene all the way up to, I believe, 3 stars at this point. But I stopped buying Eugene out of the shop because I want to get copies of Hildwyn, building up Hildwyn. And of course, out of there, yeah, if he's at Legendary, I'd probably still get some copies. Again, the hero's being used quite a few places, but you could definitely use them. How long till the next Awaken do you think? Since we just had the Awakened version of Iran, I would probably say a month and a half, maybe 2. A month and a half, maybe 2 would be worth it. Is Kelthin E60 worth it? As much as I would like to say no, Soul, yes, it is. The thing is with him, even for every instance of health loss, he permanently gains attack rating. If you want Kelthin to do the damage that he needs to do to really, really be effective, you have to build him up. You're getting the attack rating boost and you're getting the attack speed boost. He, of course, is a very strong carry when it comes to the Hypo Tower. And honestly, when it comes to the Hypo, I mean, outside of the support, he's probably the best in slot for a lot of different content. Looking at Lavatoon, looking at Lucilla, there are 2 heroes absolutely that do very well. Kelthin, a very, very close one. Eugene to 4 stars. Yeah, Eugene's slowly being built, which again, I would rather go ahead and build out Hildwyn. Hildwyn is the one that I'm focusing on right now. I'm doing my summons for land, but Hildwyn is the one that we are building out in the entirety, buying it outside of the guild store. Now, once I get Hildwyn to 1 star, I'll probably go back, finish out Eugene. Once Eugene is completed, I will swap it over. I will go back to Hildwyn. But even when it comes to the guild shop, is #1 priority for any players is buying out both of these. You can see that Mickey is right on pace. I'm buying these out, and you can also notice that 3 of 4 right here, Mickey is already buying out the copies of Hildwyn because he already has Eugene at 1 star. But when you look at the insignias and the time emblems, they are the absolute priority to build out. Absolutely. When even is Eugene being used? He's being used in a few different places. He's being used in the Cursed Realm. We're seeing him in the Nightmare Corridor. We're seeing him in the Treasure Scramble. When you get into later teams within the Treasure Scramble, he is being used again in a few different places that we're kind of seeing him. And I don't know if this iteration we're seeing him, but there are a few in here, which Raku's in here, Vika's in here, which again is kind of crazy. There is the Awakened version of, as you can see, Lucius and the other one. Look at Matria right here. Right there's Eugene. He's, like I said, he's being used a couple different places, Mystical, and he is falling in line. He is also used in the Treasure Scramble, and a little bit later, he is being used in a couple different places, sometimes as a damage dealer. We are also seeing him sometimes as a support hero, as kind of like a secondary or a backup that we're still seeing him used. Again, there's Vika, which is kind of funny. There is Thane, there's Gwen, there's the Awakened version of Athalia. And again, sometimes he sneaks in here for the SP effect that he has. He might not be used in this one because, of course, there's still the cheese of Baden in there. But overall, yes, he is still being used in a couple different places. I feel like in the future, though, they'll probably phase him out just like they do with most heroes. And of course, Hildwyn, they gave us all the free copies of. Eugene, they gave us all the free copies of. And then they add him to the guild store for the players that didn't get the free copies, making it very, very achievable. Should I focus more on Hildwyn or the time emblems in the shop? Buy the emblems first. Buy the time emblems, buy out the insignias before you get the heroes. And again, this is because when you think of Eugene and Hildwyn, they are not the absolute top priority in AFK Arena. New heroes that are going to be coming in the future, Mast, you're going to have the resource to build those. Absolutely. I'm glad I found you. Like, what's going on now for us? Thanks for joining us for the late night stream here. I think Eugene is a tower killer. Yeah, he is very, very strong. Now, a lot of players don't have the Awakened version of Matria or the towers themselves, again, because a lot of players might not have been playing during that time. But going through here, he is another one that is being used, and I'd be shocked if you didn't see him. This might be actually older, but right there he is being used. He has utility. He still has utility. He has and is still being used in a couple different places as you continue. So he's like Gavis, right? He can be. So it depends who you put him with. Gavis is a very, very defensive support type of mage. Eugene can do a very strong damage dealing aspect, or he can play kind of a secondary damage role because of his SP effect amplifying other heroes. Now the SP effect, of course, is the reduction of the energy. So the accumulation of energy reduces the enemy hero. They restore max health. Each time they receive health loss, max energy goes up. Allied heroes recover 75 energy. So again, kind of the support aspect on here because of the ability to be kind of a mana battery. And I think this might be the one permanently reduces the magical resistance. This is the other reason the plus 40 on here. If you're running him in a team, you're using him as an energy battery, but he also has the ability to reduce magical resistance when these go off. So again, you can amplify the damage. So playing almost like a support role with Eugene versus playing a very, very strong heavy mage. But if you run him as a heavy mage, he does well as a heavy mage. My Dragon Gwen just needs 3 copy for 1 star. I have everything to take her engraving to 80. It's worth it, Dusty. When you think of the heroes, and it's funny because what we did when we were building out Gwen is we had Gwen at Ascended, and we had Gwen at Ascended for a considerable amount of time. When we went in there and we built out Gwen, we took Gwen to Ascended, we put the furniture on her, we gave her the 40 signature item. Damage was about 3, I think it was around 3 billion if I remember correctly. Once we engraved her, that 3 billion went to about 16 billion because of the engraving on her. You have to build her out to the 1 star. You have to put the engraving on her. It is a big, big game changer for her for the engraving aspect. You have to build her out with the engraving. It is huge when you get to build out. Without having her at the 1 star, without the engraving, honestly, it's not there. How high of a priority is Aurelia? So Aurelia, honestly, has gotten to the point where this hero is probably going to be in the top 5. Or is probably going to make the top 5. I'm assuming with this hero, SSS tier utility-wise, we are seeing this hero everywhere. Now, of course, when you start looking at, Liberta, Lucilla, Lavatoon, Demia, and Aurelia, all 5 of those, honestly, are probably going to be the most prevalent support heroes, mage support heroes that we have within AFK Arena. Those are going to be the 5, and I really feel like she is going to join them. When you look at every single game mode, she is being used. Absolutely. I'm using Eugene with Awaken, Shamira, and Demia. Yeah, Darren, that is a very, very strong combination right there. Yeah, like I said, her Aurelia, she's going to be a strong combination. And look, Mickey even took her to the plus 40 signature item, increasing the attack rating, which of course the attack rating feeds into everything else she has here that is based on the attack rating. Makes a big difference when you're building out some of these heroes. Utility-wise, I feel like she's being used everywhere. She is going to be a hero that is an absolute requirement. It looks like Mickey hasn't been on 21 hours. I'm going to go ahead and do some of these for short term. Just manage them, give away some of these. And then, of course, you can see Mickey just team hunt is done. We collected up a couple things for Mickey, leaving him 234. So I thought about going in, doing a couple more summons. I know we got lucky last time, but honestly, overall, even here, he has a lot more cards. It looks like, was he building out Safiya? He has 194 cards, guys, and he's building out Safiya. You know what? I'm going to use the cards. I'm going to use the cards in here because that awakened version of Safiya, I know when he wrote me the email, he said there was a lot more cards that he got from farming. So I am assuming right here, let's go ahead. Let's get some of these. I don't even know if he has any of these. We're sitting on 194 cards. Let's see. And there we go. There is the first copy. Now, of course, when you think of the SS tier, so almost the very top tier, the awakened version of Safiya absolutely is a big hero to have some copies of. And I'm wondering if we can get the diamonds. We have seen a crazy amount of diamonds on Mickey's account. So I'm hoping maybe we can pull a couple copies of her. There we go. There is the Legendary Bizarre Totem. I love seeing those. They are huge to unlock all of the totems that you get. Even though I know they're an absolute pain in the butt to build, you have to have those to build them out. There's another single. So that is 2 copies. And there was another emblem box right there. I'm trying to pay attention, trying to see if we do get those diamonds, because I know they come by pretty quick. There is copy number 3. Just another single, though. I think we're almost done with the cards. And God, on this speed, This is kind of crazy. I'm gonna have to record at the speed to do some of the other. If you guys don't know, this is free to play. Mickey's accounts are free to play, and there is copy number 4. It's kind of crazy that it is absolutely free to play. So that does take the Awakened version of Safiya up a little bit more. Got a copy right there of Villanelle that we pulled earlier. There's Legendary plus a copy, and there is the engraving on Villanelle. So we have, again, a lot more heroes that we can build out of here. It's kind of crazy how much, and I wonder even here how much he built up the tree. I think he's out of juice. Looks like he's out of juice. Again, Mickey's like, I spent a lot of time. I caught up the account. I got everything kind of, yeah, 6x summons is kind of crazy. Do I build her or Lucilla? Everyone, even though I have Liberta at 1. I Mystical, honestly, I would probably build her out. As much as I absolutely love Lucilla, and I do see a big value in Lucilla, there's a lot of combinations where Lucilla's pretty easy to replace with other heroes. I would probably build her out before Lucilla, just because, again, using her and seeing her priority, it is kind of crazy to see kind of how far and how fast that hero has been built. It's going to be one of the top 5. Yeah, so top 5, Liberta, Lucilla, Lavatune. Kelthin's not in there. Kelthin, unfortunately, again, is starting to see a little bit less utility. I would take out Kelthin. I would put Aurelia or Aurelia in there, or I'd put Lucilla. I'd put Demia. When you still think about the cheat death, and this is the big thing with Demia, Demia isn't going anywhere, because when you put the specific artifact, the Mahira +2 artifact on her, she has the ability, and they cheese the heck out of this for the Abyssal Expedition when you're fighting the boss. Your team becomes immune, just like what Alna does for the front tank, Demia does for the entire team. I don't think Demia is going anywhere, and I don't feel like she is going to be going anywhere. But guys, really, yeah, Demia, absolutely. Demia before Kelthin. But all right, guys, so I wanted to hop in here. I wanted to knock out some of these summons. Again, I know Mickey has been waiting for me to hop in here, finish these out. So I wanted to hop in, wanted to do this short stream for you. So it's been about a little over half an hour, guys. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get up to, and we're at like, God, 35,000 plus subscribers, trying to continue to get the growth, continue to do the videos, continue to do the stream. I'm at the end of 31. I don't have 2 teams. What hero should I build? All of the ones that we were looking at. Honestly, when you think of the wish list at 31, you know, there's a lot of different heroes to build if you're building the Awakened heroes. But thinking of looking at the wish list, looking at the tier list, make sure the Noble Tavern's filled with the ones that are in there, the ones that are within the tier list that you can build from the 4 factions. They will be the driving force. Getting levels, honestly, once you get to 2 teams, getting levels is going to be a big change when you're starting to push through progression. And of course, if you can fill 1 or 2 of those teams with 1 Awakened hero, the big thing with those is, of course, you pick up the SP effect, even if you don't have them built out a lot. But now at chapter 31, that's the time you want to farm the heck, especially today, out of the towers and farm them over and over and over again. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's stream. Again, wanted to hop on, wanted to share with you guys a little bit, wanted to get that hero, which we did. So Kraigor is built up to 1 star, as well as finishing out some more of his Draconic heroes. So it's pretty cool to see. And I know the other heroes, when you think of building out Lan, you know, building out Gwen, the insignias are still very stupid expensive when it comes to the cost. But guys, some of the heroes got to be built. As much as I like to say, just hold on to all of your resources, don't bother on building any of those. When you look at Melion, when you look at Lan, when you look at Nyla, they're being used in a lot of different content. They are heroes that you want to build. And if you want to make progression within that Dragon Forge, you're going to have to build out the Draconic heroes, which is kind of stuck. I'm stuck at 38. I asked the team building advice on Reddit, and most respond is quit. It's hard because I don't know the heroes you have. When you think of team building, honestly, in the simplified version of this, when you look is going in here and seeing what formations you can build. So looking and copying formations in this game, because remember, if you do the recommended formations, the way the recommended formations work is they are based on heroes you have. So if there are specific heroes that you don't have at all, it will not drop them in the recommended formations because you don't possess those heroes. So it's really important. And again, I go in here, I pick up usually the lowest team that is in here, and I go ahead and I auto battle and go through here with the heroes that I have available to go ahead and farm all that I can. And you'll notice though, some of the older ones, you know, don't have combinations or don't run heroes like our new hero right here, Aurelia, because the combat formations were saved before the new heroes were released. You might be able to go through here and find out some different formations. But I do go through and I do kind of play around with it a little bit to find exactly what team works. And unfortunately, you'll get to a point where most stages will change, just going through the auto battle and getting that done on a regular basis. So again, guys, that is going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me. Want to knock out those Draconic summons so I can email Mickey back, tell him that they're done, or he's going to hop on and notice it. So guys, have a good night. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a stream tomorrow. We have a birthday party, we have soccer, we have volleyball, we have everything going on tomorrow. So we're going to be doing some more and try to have some more during the week next week. That way we can kind of make up and answer all the questions that we have for AFK Arena. But again, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me. And as always, thank you guys for watching.